As a prostate doctor, I've seen the damage these 10 habits can do, not over months, but years. And most seniors have no idea they're doing them every single day. From how you sit to how you sip, these hidden patterns quietly inflame your prostate, disrupt your bladder, and make peaceful sleep feel impossible. But the good news? Every one of them is reversible. Let's walk through the silent culprits and how to heal. Prostate issues don't start with symptoms. They start with pressure, biological and behavioral. Small stressors on your bladder, bloodstream, and hormones build over time until your body can't hold the weight. But change doesn't require surgery or fear. It requires awareness. As someone who's treated hundreds of aging men through natural methods, I want to show you what causes silent prostate growth and what to do instead. From hydration to stress to movement, these small actions become powerful allies. Let's begin. 1. The silent trigger, dehydration and bladder pressure. You might think skipping water protects your bladder. Fewer bathroom trips, right? But here's the truth. Chronic dehydration is one of the quietest ways to inflame your prostate. When your body doesn't get enough fluid, your urine becomes darker, more acidic, and more concentrated. That irritates the lining of the bladder. And because the prostate sits just below, any pressure above starts to affect it too, like a soft sponge being pressed on day after day. Over time, this irritation leads to inflammation, and inflammation is one of the key drivers behind prostate enlargement, or BPH. In fact, a 2019 study from the National Institutes of Health found that older men who consistently drank less than 1.5 liters of water daily had a 42% higher rate of urinary inflammation markers compared to those who stayed well hydrated. The fix is gentle, but powerful. Don't gulp water all at once. Instead, sip small amounts throughout the day. A good sign? Your urine should be pale yellow, not completely clear, but never dark, especially in the morning and early evening. This timing keeps your bladder calmer overnight. Harold, one of my patients, used to avoid water after 5 p.m. because of his nighttime urges. But by adjusting his intake, more in the morning, less after dinner, he started sleeping through the night again. It's not about drinking more, it's about drinking smart. Hydration, done right, becomes one of your prostate's quietest shields. 2. When stillness becomes stress, sitting and circulation. Most people don't connect sitting with prostate problems, but the way we stay still, hour after hour, silently squeezes the life out of the lower body's circulation. Your prostate isn't just a gland. It's a soft, vascular organ nestled between your bladder and pelvic floor. And like any part of the body, it needs steady blood flow to stay calm and function well. When you sit too long, especially without breaks, that circulation slows. The muscles around your pelvis tighten, pressure builds, and over time, the prostate begins to swell from the inside. In 2021, the British Journal of Urology reported that men over 60 who sat more than 6 hours per day had a significantly higher risk of BPH progression, even if they exercised later. It wasn't about how much they moved, it was about how long they stayed still. But here's the quiet fix: movement in small doses. Stand up every 30 minutes. Take a 2-minute walk around the house. Do light hip rolls while waiting for the kettle to boil. You don't need a gym, you just need circulation. One of my older patients, James, kept a kitchen timer on his recliner. Every 45 minutes it chimed and he stood, stretched, walked to the window, and back. His nighttime urgency dropped within 2 weeks. Think of sitting like holding your breath. Your prostate can't thrive without rhythm and movement. Let your body exhale. Let it move. That's how healing begins. Have you noticed any difference in your body when you move more or less? Let it be a quiet reflection. 3. The invisible flame, stress and cortisol. Damage. Stress doesn't just live in your mind, it burns through your body, quietly, daily, and deeply. And your prostate feels that fire more than most men realize. When you're under constant stress, your body produces more cortisol. At first, this helps you cope, but over time, excess cortisol starts to disrupt your hormonal balance. It lowers testosterone and increases inflammation. Both are known triggers for prostate swelling, but the damage doesn't stop there. Chronic stress also tightens the muscles around your pelvis. These subtle contractions restrict blood flow and compressed nerves that wrap around the prostate. The result? More urgency, more discomfort, and more sleep interrupted by bathroom trips. A 2022 review from Harvard Health linked high cortisol levels with a 27% increase in lower urinary tract symptoms in men over 60. And many of these men didn't even feel stressed because they had carried that tension for so long, it felt normal. One of my patients, Richard, a retired police officer, had ignored stress for decades. It wasn't until he started a 10-minute daily walk without his phone, just fresh air and breath, that his body began to unwind. Within a month, he noticed less nighttime urgency and a lighter feeling in his lower belly. Stress doesn't need to be loud to cause harm. Sometimes it's the quiet flame beneath everything else. And learning to put it out, softly, is the real medicine. The misguided diet, caffeine, spices, and processed foods. Many seniors wake up with a comforting cup of coffee. Some enjoy a bit of spice in their meals. And processed snacks, well, they're just convenient. But these small pleasures may quietly be fueling prostate trouble. Caffeine acts as a diuretic. It makes your bladder work harder and faster, increasing urgency and frequency. But more importantly, it tightens the muscles near the bladder neck, making it harder to empty fully. That leftover urine creates pressure, and the prostate feels every ounce of it. Then there's spice. Ingredients like chili and pepper may not seem harmful, but they increase internal heat. For an already irritated prostate, that's like pouring fire on fire. Processed foods are the quietest offenders. Packed with sodium, preservatives, and additives, they disrupt hormonal balance and inflame tissues. A high-sodium diet also leads to fluid retention, placing extra stress on the urinary tract. The Mayo Clinic, in a 2020 report, emphasized how caffeine combined with bladder tension can worsen symptoms of BPH, especially in older men who are already dehydrated. So, what's the fix? Keep your first cup of coffee, but switch the second to a mild herbal tea. Swap salty packaged snacks with a handful of walnuts or blueberries. Even small changes like avoiding hot sauce at dinner can reduce nighttime urgency. Think of it this way. What you eat either calms your prostate or quietly irritates it with every bite. 5. Hormonal saboteurs, red meat and belly fat. It's easy to overlook the connection between what's on your plate and what's pressing against your prostate. But red meat and belly fat form a hormonal duo that slowly, silently shapes your prostate's future. Let's start with the meat. Processed and fatty cuts, like sausages or bacon, are high in saturated fats. These fats increase inflammation and disrupt your body's ability to regulate testosterone. A hormonal imbalance, too much estrogen relative to testosterone, can directly encourage prostate tissue to grow. Then there's belly fat. This isn't just extra weight. Belly fat produces compounds called adipokines. These chemicals trigger low-grade, chronic inflammation throughout the body, including your pelvic organs. More pressure, more irritation, more swelling. In a 2020 study published in European Urology, researchers found that men with larger waistlines had a 32% higher risk of developing moderate to severe prostate enlargement, even when controlling for age. The good news? You don't need a crash diet. Swap red meat for fish or lentils 2 nights a week. Choose grilled chicken over processed cuts. And walk for 15 minutes after meals to help regulate insulin and reduce fat storage. I once had a patient named George, 72, who thought giving up bacon meant giving up joy. But after replacing it with roasted salmon twice a week, he lost 7 pounds and slept through the night for the first time in months. Food doesn't just feed you, it speaks to your hormones, and your hormones speak to your prostate. Maybe you've felt it too. That slow shift in energy, the waistline tightening, and something deep inside telling you it's time to change. 6. The bladder mistake, holding urine. Too long. We've all done it, ignored the urge to pee during a meeting, on a long drive, or while watching a favorite show. But when this becomes a habit, the damage builds quietly, especially for the prostate. Here's what happens. Your bladder fills, stretches, and begins to press downward. Just beneath it sits your prostate. That pressure, over time, becomes more than your tissue can handle. It leads to irritation, then swelling, and eventually difficulty fully emptying your bladder. The real danger isn't just the pressure, it's what's left behind. Incomplete urination causes stagnant urine to linger, and stagnant urine is a breeding ground for bacteria and inflammation, both of which irritate the prostate further. As we age, the muscles that control bladder and prostate function naturally weaken. Holding urine adds extra strain to an already delicate system. In clinical observations published by Mayo Clinic, chronic urine retention in seniors is one of the top contributors to lower urinary tract symptoms, many of which go unnoticed until they interfere with sleep, mobility, or confidence. The fix is simple but intentional. Go when you first feel the urge. Don't wait, especially before bed or long errands. If you're concerned about frequent trips, schedule light water intake around your daily routine. Think of it this way. Your bladder and prostate are like dance partners. If one stumbles, the other feels it. Give them room to move in rhythm. 7. The hidden smoke, smoking and secondhand damage. You already know smoking harms the lungs and heart, but fewer people realize it's also quietly harming the prostate, even years after quitting. The prostate depends on steady blood flow to stay healthy. Smoking narrows blood vessels, limiting oxygen and nutrient delivery. This weakens the tissue and slows repair. At the same time, smoke increases oxidative stress, tiny bursts of internal damage that inflame sensitive organs like the prostate. Even secondhand smoke can be enough to trigger problems. If you live with someone who smokes or spend time in smoke-filled places, your prostate still feels the effects. A 2018 WHO tobacco report found that men exposed to secondhand smoke regularly had a 60% higher risk of developing benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. The study emphasized that this effect lingered even in non-smokers, especially older adults. But here's the hope. The prostate can recover. Quitting smoking, avoiding smoky environments, and increasing your intake of antioxidants like vitamin C and E can reduce inflammation over time. One patient of mine, Dennis, had quit 15 years ago, but still visited a bar weekly with friends. After choosing to meet outdoors instead, his nighttime urgency reduced within a month. His doctor later noted a decrease in prostate swelling. The body remembers damage, but it also remembers healing. Smoke doesn't have to be in your lungs to affect your glands. Choose air that supports your recovery. 8. The screening blind spot. Avoiding doctor visits. Many men wait until something feels wrong before seeing a doctor. But the prostate doesn't always send clear warning signs. It often grows in silence, until one day you can't sleep through the night or fully empty your bladder. Regular screenings catch this before it turns serious. A quick digital rectal exam, or PSA blood test, can detect inflammation, infections, or early signs of abnormal growth. These checks aren't just for peace of mind, they're a form of prevention. In many cases, lifestyle changes are more effective when problems are caught early. You may never need medication or surgery if you're paying attention before symptoms grow worse. A recent survey by the American Urological Association found that over 40% of men over 60 had never discussed prostate health with their doctor. Yet those who did, especially annually, were more likely to manage symptoms naturally and avoid complications. One man I worked with, Leon, was hesitant to get checked. But after a gentle nudge from his daughter, he had his first PSA test. It caught an early shift. No urgency, no pain, just quiet prevention. Today, with diet and exercise, his numbers are better than they were 5 years ago. Screenings aren't about fear, they're about freedom. The sooner you check in, the more power you have to shape your health path. Don't wait for the wake-up call. Schedule it before it rings. 9. The app that catches the clues. Health tracking. You might not notice change day by day, but your body leaves clues, quiet signals that show up in patterns. And if you track those patterns, you can prevent problems before they start. That's where health tracking comes in. For seniors especially, keeping a simple log of daily habits, how much water you drink, when you urinate, how often you wake at night, can reveal shifts you might otherwise ignore. Doctors can do more with data. When you bring them a 2-week record of your sleep, hydration, and symptoms, it turns a vague visit into a targeted plan. Patterns tell stories your memory can't. That's why many older patients now use the Senior Health Tracker, a free app designed specifically for men over 60. It sends reminders to hydrate, tracks urination times, and stores data you can easily show your doctor. The goal isn't just awareness, it's consistency. One of my patients, Frank, 74, was frustrated by unpredictable symptoms. He thought nothing was working, until he started tracking. He noticed a clear link between his salt intake and nighttime urgency. With small dietary changes, he slept better within a week. Awareness is a healing tool. When you see the patterns, you can shape them. Start small. Track one thing this week. Even noticing is progress. And if you'd like to try the app, the link is in the video description. Your prostate can't speak, but your habits do. 10. The most dangerous habit. Ignoring emotional pain. Not all inflammation comes from food or habits. Some of it starts deep inside, where grief, worry, and unspoken pain quietly take root. And over time, that emotional weight can reshape your body, including your prostate. When you carry stress without release, your body responds. Cortisol rises, pelvic muscles stay tight, blood flow slows. These hidden shifts create chronic tension that compresses nerves and inflames tissue. It becomes a cycle: tight body, restless nights, silent swelling. What makes this habit so dangerous is that it's invisible. You might not even know you're doing it. Men, especially, are taught to push through pain, to stay quiet, to be strong. But strength isn't silence. Strength is facing what hurts and giving it room to heal. In my practice, I remember one man, Marcus, 69, who had lost his wife 5 years earlier. He had never cried, never talked about it. But his symptoms told the story. Nightly urgency, pelvic pain, constant fatigue. When he finally joined a small walking group and spoke freely for the first time, something changed. Not just emotionally, but physically. His symptoms eased. He started sleeping. Healing had begun. There's no prescription for grief, but there is space. And when we make space for the quiet emotions, the body often follows. So, take this as a gentle nudge. Your prostate doesn't just need water, rest, or food. Sometimes it needs your attention to what's been buried. Healing your prostate isn't just about shrinking a gland. It's about restoring quiet. Quiet in your bladder, quiet in your sleep, quiet in your mind. These 10 habits may seem small, but over time, they shape everything. From how often you wake at night to how fully you feel at ease in your own body. And here's the truth. Change doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. One glass of water, one short walk, one conversation you've been holding in. Start there. You've walked through the hidden triggers. Now you know where the inflammation begins and how it can slowly, gently end. So, here's a soft question. Which habit felt closest to your story? You don't need to answer aloud. Just let it echo. If this video offered something helpful, I invite you to subscribe. Quietly, no pressure, just more healing tools when you're ready. And next time, we'll explore a strange fermented food, once used by monks, that may reduce inflammation faster than many medications. Until then, take care of your body, and listen to the parts of you that whisper before they shout.